Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Hey guys, my name's Alyssa. How are you doing? I hope you're doing so well. I'm here today to tell you what my physical TBR looks like. Not all of it, just the 12 books that I already own that I need to read in 2024. It's not 12 books, highly anticipated books that I want to read. No, these are all books that I have already bought, I have not read, and I am a little bit ashamed. I have a lot of unread books, so I'm starting with these 12, and I'm hoping that it just like catapults into me reading more of the books that I already own. This is the year of frugality for me. I cannot be buying books all willy-nilly, silly-dilly, you know what I'm saying? Like, I cannot be just going out and being like, I should buy 10 books. No, ma'am. Not that I've ever done that, actually. I think the most I've ever bought? That's not a word. The most I've ever bought at one time was like 3. But still, that's too many. That's 3 too many. Anyways, I'm here to show you the 12 books that I already own that I need to read in 2024. They're not in any particular order. I'm not gonna start with number 1 and end with number 12 in the year. It doesn't matter. I just need to read. I'm not giving myself any rules. It's just read or else. This idea for myself came from, like I said, having a lot of books in my physical TBR. My dad actually asked me this morning, was like, do you have a lot of unread books? Yes, I do. Funny you should ask, because I do. And I really, 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 really want to get that number down this year. Like, I really need to get it down. So I am trying not to buy any books that I like won't read immediately. And I'm also trying to read the books that I already own instead of, I love the library, but I'm like, I need to stop going to the library because I'm reading those books and not reading the books I already have. So book number 1, I have actually already started twice. Don't judge me, please. Don't judge me. But I've started this book twice, and I really want to read it because I think it'll be right up my alley. Like, I know it will, but I just can't get past the first like 30 pages. All of Us Villains. I got this book in 2021. It is 2024. This is getting out of hand. All these books, I don't really know what they're about. I go fully by vibes. And this is a vibe that I like. Like, killer teenagers. Sign me up. Also, one of my favorite authors blurbed it in the back. Miss Katie Rose Poole. Love her. But yeah, this book, I think it's about like magical families and they kill each other. Can't tell you much about this book besides the fact that I've started it twice, and I know that there's like supposed to be some type of like murder games. I don't know if it's a game. It kind of gives me Hunger Games vibes, but like darker. I'm very intrigued by this book, and I think I'm gonna have to start it over for a 3rd time. Don't you just love that? I've been doing this thing where I try to read for 30 minutes every day, whether that be like listening to an audiobook for 30 minutes or like reading physically for 30 minutes. So I think with that in mind, I can definitely like force myself to get past the first couple pages. I think that's usually the hardest part with like stuff like this. Like, I have to learn the characters, but I also have to learn the world. I also have to learn all the rules. If there's magic, I need to learn about the magic system. Like, there's a lot to start to understand in the first couple of pages, and I just can never get past that. So I'm gonna try really hard. Book number 2 was actually in my spring TBR video. If anybody watched that, I doubt anybody did, but obviously it's in this video too, so I didn't read it. I didn't read most of the books in that video. Once again, please don't judge me. That book is The Stolen Heir by Holly Black. I really loved The Cruel Prince, so I think I will love this. I loved Oak. I thought he was so cute. And I'm excited to read about Oak as an older teen instead of a baby. I think he was like, 5 in The Cruel Prince. I'm excited to read this one, but the reason why I haven't read it yet is because I wanted to read the Cruel Prince trilogy before I read this one, and I got through the Cruel Prince and then I didn't read the other 2. So I think I'm just gonna throw that to the wind. I'll read a synopsis so I can remember what happened, and then I'm gonna get into this. I learned last year that I have to stop making rules around my reading, because when I make the rules, I really hold myself to these arbitrary rules where I'm like, I have to read this before I read that. No, you don't. Like, just read the book. Like, we already have to live by so many rules in everyday life, like in society, and then I'm making rules for my hobbies too. Girl, I don't have an intro for this one, but this is book number 3, Assistant to the Villain, which I bought later last year, because it came out last year, I believe. So I haven't had this one for too long, but I went to a silent book club, which is basically like everyone brings their own books and they read their own books, and then at the end you like come together and tell other people about the book that you're reading, which is super fun. It was very fun. So I went to a silent book club and somebody had just finished this, and they were like, it's like a romance but with Gru from Despicable Me. And I was like, Gru. I'm assuming they mean personality wise, because I don't know about y'all, but listen, Gru doesn't do it for me. Love Gru. But I'm assuming she means like how ridiculous Gru is. Similar to Megamind, like very ridiculous villains. So I think that's what they meant by that. But I had already bought the book by then. So now I'm like, I need to know what she meant by Gru. And I like, yeah, it's a nice floppy one. There's another one in here that's really nice and floppy. Book number 4 by another author that I have read before, but I've only read their graphic novels, because they're graphic novels. This is C.S. Picot's Dark Rise, which I believe the second book came out last year, 2023, at the end of last year. And I got this book from Half Price Books. I don't know if you can see the stickiness on this book. I don't really know what this book is about. I like the cover, and I know I like C.S. Picot because I read Fence, and I thought the story in Fence was like yum 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 yum. I haven't read The Captive Prince. I will never read The Captive Prince. Do not tell me to read that book. I have seen the triggers. I'm not reading that. But I will read this. I'm pretty sure this is like YA, so can't be too bad, hopefully. Number 5 is Silver Under Nightfall. This book was recommended to me by a friend who was like, it's vampires and there's polyamory. And I was like, sign me up. And also the cover is beautiful. So I've also started this book before. I tried to listen to the audio. I couldn't get into it. And then I tried to read the ebook. Couldn't get into it. And usually when that happens, that just means that I just have to read it physically, So I also convinced 2 of my friends to get this book. And so I hope that we can all read this and enjoy it in the new year. In this year. I got to like the 2nd or 3rd chapter in the book, so I just know that like the main character is like a vampire like hunter, I think, and then apparently there's also like vampire main characters and they like fall in love and whatnot. And I think the second one comes out this year or early next year, so I'm excited to read this one. Number 6 is The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. The reason why I wanted to read this book is because I heard it was a better version of T.J. Klune's The House on the Cerulean Sea. I like that book, and I would love an even better version, especially a version with what looks like women of color to me. So hopefully this is not just like misleading, racially ambiguous girl, but I don't think it is. This is definitely adult, and I remember when I bought it, the person who sold it to me was like, this book is so good, and I still haven't read it. This also I got in 2022. I don't know if anybody else agrees, but 2023 went by so fast. Like, where has the time gone? The next books together are by the same author, so I'm gonna lump them together. I met this author at Y'all Fest, and it was super fun. That was the Y'all Fest in 2023. I went for the first time. It was great. It was beautiful. It was iconic. And I met this author. She signed one of my books. I haven't read it. I have 4 of her books. I haven't read any of them. So I need to read at least half of those 4 this year, because it's getting out of hand. But anyway, those 2 books are Foul Lady Fortune by Chloe Gong and Immortal Longings, also by Chloe Gong. Surprise, surprise. So this one I picked up because I saw a little excerpt of it on TikTok, Instagram, I don't know, and it sounded interesting. And the people at Y'all Fest were like in love with this book, and I wanted to know why. And then Immortal Longings, I got this because it seems like right up my current alley. I don't know, it just seemed like something I would enjoy, so I bought it. Also, this is her first adult novel. This is one that she signed too, because I was like, I just feel like this is gonna be a really good book. So I have high hopes for this one, and I don't know if that'll be my downfall or not, but I guess we'll see. The next book is by the man, the myth, the legend, Rick Riordan. It's The Lost Hero. So, funny story about me, I didn't read Percy Jackson and the Olympians until I was 21. So, I didn't get to this, because I finished PJO and I was like, that was great. I'm done. And also I heard that Percy's not in this book, so I didn't want to read it. I was like, oh, I only want to read about Percy and Annabeth and Grover. I don't care about these other kids. But everyone says these books are so good. So I'm like, let me get into it. So I have all 5 of these. Once I finish this, I'm gonna have to finish the series. And I also do want to reread PJO before I read this, but like I said, no rules. I just feel like it would be easier for me to like transition from PJO to Heroes of Olympus. But who knows, honestly. It might not be. The Percy Jackson show is coming out week by week, and it's really good. And I'm like, I just feel like I need more, you know, like the show is pretty, as far as I remember, the show is pretty like 1-to-1 with the book. As far as I remember. Okay, don't stone me. I just am feeling this like Percy Jackson renaissance in me. I don't know if it can be a renaissance because it's only been 4 years since I read it. But to other people, it'll be a renaissance. Renaissance. Is Nico in these ones? I hope so. I like Nico. Because this only says Jason, Piper, Leo. But there's 4 more books. So, like, Nico? Anyone? Next 2 books are little romances. I am a romance girly, self-proclaimed, of course. I'm a romance girly through and through. And I love to read them because I like how like light and airy and fun they are. I'm like, yeah. Like they're getting together. It's like the same formula every time. And I'm like, yeah, do it again. First one is by the infamous Emily Henry. This is Book Lovers by Emily Henry. I also own Happy Place, also by Emily Henry. Haven't read that one either. I hope to also read that this year, but it's not in my 12. I have to read Book Lovers this year because I bought it before Happy Place. That's the only reason. I think in my mind, I feel like I would like Happy Place better than Book Lovers, but I've had this one for longer, so I have to read it first. I've only read People We Meet on Vacation and Beach Read so far, and I loved Beach Read. I like both of them, but Beach Read was like just a little bit better, or I liked it a little bit more. I just need to like block out a little weekend and just read all my romance books, and I could really like knock down my pile if I just did that, because they don't like take a lot of time to get into or to read. So I'm like, just block out some time. But you know what? I'm not gonna force myself to do that. No rules. Next romance book is by my queen, Allie Hazelwood. It's Check and Mate. I have read all of her books leading up to this one. There's only 3, but to me, that's a feat. Like, I'm so bad about reading authors that I like. I'll just like buy their book and be like, okay, I have it now. and I don't read it. This one I heard is really good, and it's a skinty girl. So I'm like, I could be done with this in a couple hours. I'm gonna learn so much about chess, and then I'm gonna learn how to play chess. That's like the natural progression. Read a book about chess, learn how to play chess. Out of the 3 Ellie Hazelwood books I have read, I love The Love Hypothesis. Everyone does. Well, maybe not everyone, but a lot of people do. But Love Theoretically, Scrum Diddly Umptious. That was a good book. And I just feel like everything Ellie Hazelwood writes, I will read. She's like coming out with a werewolf something this year or next year. I'll be there. I will be there reading that. Nose to the pages, you know. I'll be reading it. That was book 11. The last book I have also started multiple times. Are we sensing the theme here? I hope we are. The last book is The Gilded Wolves. So this book I picked up because a booktuber I used to watch, she really liked this trilogy. So I was like, I'm so intrigued. And then somebody was like, it's kind of like Six of Crows. And if you know me, you know I have to read everything that is like compared to Six of Crows. I have to just a Z, you know, for my own research. I've started it, I think twice. Once with a ebook, and the second time with like a physical library book, and then I had to return it because I didn't finish it. So I bought it, and then I didn't read it. It's set in Paris. I'm pretty sure it's like 5 or 6 teenagers doing criminal activity, just like Six of Crows. We'll see how this is. But this is the other floppy one. That is a nice sound. This one's pretty good too. This one I don't think would be that good. Yeah, it's fine. This one is the best one. And Assistant to the Villain. Anyway, I'm abusing them. I'm sorry. Those are the 12 books that I want to read in 2024. My reading goal for this year is 36 books. So that's just a third of the books that I want to read. And I also have a book club, so that's another third of the books that I want to read. And then I'll have the joy of choosing the other 12 at a later date as they come along. You guys let me know what you want to read this year. If you have any of these books on your TBR, let me know. If you've read any of them, let me know how you feel. Unless you feel poorly about them, then please wait until I am done. Because if you feel poorly about them, it'll make me not want to read them. Okay. That's all from me and the books that I need to read this year. I'll see you when I see you. Okay? Bye-bye.